Nice boys. Good training, lads. Let's keep it going. Must-win game this weekend, boys. Let's go.
Incoming message.
What's this? Youth intake preview. Damn, no internet around here. Right, I better get home and see this. Keep training, boys. Must-win game. Come on.
Looking for trouble and fights, but you found me. No, I'm a screw up, but baby, I'm glad you're someone to rely on, someone to rely on. No, I'm a screw up, but baby, I could be someone to rely on, someone to rely on, someone to rely on.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode number 3 of Husavik Heroes here on Shaun Does FM. I hope you are doing well today. As you can see on screen, we've got our youth intake preview. We've played a few league games since the end of yesterday's episode, and today we are going to enter the second round of the Icelandic Cup. It is one of the few must-win games that we do have this season here at Volsungur. So if you're looking forward to all of that, then do remember to go down below, leave a thumbs up on the video, and if you haven't done so already and are enjoying the content here on the channel, also remember to hit that subscribe button and turn that notification bell on as well. But as you can see on screen, we are going to start with the youth intake preview. These youth intakes could prove quite valuable to us in this build a nation save. It is supposed to be an excellent youth intake, so that is a good start, albeit doesn't look like it's going to be excellent in most areas. It looks like centre back, centre midfield are the main areas that we're going to get a little bit of depth in, one good player in each of those positions. We might have decent wingers and a striker as well, but apart from that, goalkeeping, fullback, defensive midfield, wing backs, wide midfielders, attacking midfielders, they all look like pretty poor areas in this upcoming youth intake, which cannot be too far away if we're getting this youth intake preview already. So that's quite nice, getting it nice and early in the season here at Volsungur. But we could have a good centre back and centre midfielder coming through this youth intake, and that would be ideal, especially centre back wise. We could use a few more players with good aerial skills in that position. But we have played a few games since that youth intake preview did happen. That came in just after the first game of the season. We've played a few league games since then, so time to run you guys through the highlights of those. First off, we had an away trip a few days after the game in yesterday's episode against Relania. If you missed that, I will leave a link to it above my head in the top right corner. But we took on Vikingur first, and this was a bad day at the office for us. We'll show you the stats after these highlights, because stats-wise, wasn't the worst performance from us, but we just were not clinical in front of goal, and these guys were. They got the scoring underway there after 19 minutes at the far post. Nice ball there, and Willard tapped it in, and then Theo Dearson has too much pace for us there. Goes straight through the hands of our goalkeeper, so not good from him. He had a poor day at the office in this game. It was 2-0 about halfway through the first half, and not long after that, they made it 3. That was just a really nice long strike there from one of the Vikingur players. It was 3-0 fairly early on. We pegged one back not long after they got that third goal. Good held-up play there from Baldwinson, and Christiansson gets another goal for the season. So it was 3-1 coming towards halftime, but they wrapped it up before halftime. Very quiet second half in this game. A header, the goalkeeper doesn't make an effort for that one from us, and it finds the top right corner, and we lose 4-1. But you look at the stats, we are the away team in this game. It was not the worst performance from us. We had a higher XG, but somehow we ended up losing that game 4-1. So a little bit disappointing, but off the back of that, we made a few little tactical switches, which we'll show you guys before we come into today's game. The main one was pretty much that we pushed our wingers up to be more attacking, a little bit further forward. And it did pay immediate dividends in this home league game against IR. We got off to a very good start in this game with a team which I let my assistant select. It was a little bit different to what we used in the first couple of games of the season, but they had a very good game in this one, so this helped solidify a bit of a new look. First 11, Christiansson opened the scoring for us after only 2 minutes. Good finish there into the right-hand side of goal, and we got into a really nice rhythm in this game. At the 13-minute mark, it was Christiansson being played through again, buries that in the left-hand side of goal, and we were 2-0 up nice and early against a team who are predicted to finish just below us in the league. That was the halftime score. In the second half, we really kicked into gear. Stangrimsson, back from his little niggly injury, the player who we want to be playing in that deep-lying forward role, he got a goal there to make it 3-1 fairly early in the second half. A bit of a fumble there from our goalkeeper yet again. He looks a little bit iffy, it has to be said, Sigtryggsson, but then he gets an assist not long after that era, sets up Kristiansson to complete his hat-trick, 4-1 up with only about 12 minutes left to go in this game, and we made it 5-1 to really seal it a few minutes later. Stein Grimsson makes his way down the left. Good ball over there for Sverrisson, and we pick up a very comprehensive 5-1 win with a slightly rotated team. The only issue coming out of this one is that Kristiansson, one of our centre-backs, did get injured off the back of this game in training, which was a little bit disappointing, but a very good performance there, picking up a comprehensive win and 3 points in the league. And another quick backup off the back of that game, an away trip to Njavik. We had to rotate the team again just because of how condensed our games are early in the season here. It does let up about the time of today's game, but we were having to put our pretty heavily rotated team from that prior win against IR, but we did get off to a good start in this game after 7 minutes. Olgierson opening the scoring, and we went 1-0 up away from home, but they did equalise only a few minutes later. Did Njavik hog with the header. We put our reserve goalkeeper in goal for this one, the player that we signed with the nice, luscious, long hair, the 19-year-old Gunnarsson had a start in this game, and that was how it finished. Couldn't save that one. Good effort from Hoggin. It was a 1-1 draw away at Njavik, which isn't a terrible result. Played pretty well in that game, so nothing to be too concerned about there, but it is a little bit of a frustrating result, that one, because Kristiansson did have a penalty saved at the half-hour mark. We could have got 3 points out of that game. Probably should have, but we'll have to settle for the draw. And coming into today's episode, we took on Halka at home. Most of our first choice 11 from the prior 5-1 win back for this game, and that goal was scored by Baldursson, the Icelandic centre-back, who is proving very good for us in both games he's played for us this season, getting the goal just shy of half-time. Pretty quiet game, and we pick up 3 points against the team expected to be right in the promotion fight this season. So our form since that blip against Vikinga in the league has been very good, and as you can see, going into this cup game in today's episode, we do find ourselves just inside the promotion zone in the 2 deal, a point behind Leknir and joint with KF. We are above them. Not exactly sure how, because goal difference is exactly the same, but somehow we are above them. So in a good position early on. I'd like to think we've already put the relegation zone beyond doubt, so the board will be happy with that. They just wanted us to avoid relegation this year, but based on that start to the season, the wing play looks to be working quite well. We could potentially try and push for promotion based on our early season form. But today we are entering the Icelandic Cup, the second round. This is a game that we do need to win. The board do expect us to reach the third round of this competition. So as I said, probably one of the few must-win games we will have here in this first season at Volsungur to keep the board happy and to make sure that they don't sack us early, which would be a bit of a disaster. And we do take on a team called KFG. They are down in the division below us, currently find themselves in 7th. So this should be a pretty winnable game for us, especially at home. And the team that we are going to be putting in for this game is a little bit changed from what we had in yesterday's episode. So we better run you guys through this quickly. Goalkeeper and the right back are exactly the same. Aguajetas keeps his spot at centre back. Wouldn't usually, because Kristiansson, a player who did perform well in that 5-1 win, currently out injured. The young 18-year-old, as you can see, 1.83 metres tall, 14 heading. Looks like he might be a little bit better aerially, what I'm noticing already in this save. As long as you've got centre-backs that are good in the air, it doesn't really matter how good they are around that. As long as they're good in the air, that's all you need from your centre-backs here. So we're switching to that. Those Spanish centre-backs that we did have probably aren't going to get too much game time first team-wise this season, but at the moment with Kristiansson injured, Jamie Aguajetas does start alongside Baldursson, who has been very good since coming into the team on a non-contract squad player. He has already grown quite a bit compared to what our coaches first thought of him when he came into the club not too long before the last day of the transfer window. 15 jumping reach, nice and tall, another good aerial presence at the back. In terms of left back, McQueen has not been great recently, so we are going with some out-and-out left backs. So at the moment, Oscarsson is the starting left back. He's not too great, let's be frank, and we are actually going to use them as fullbacks instead of wing backs. Got some very iffy attributes there, but does look to be performing better than McQueen, who is a right back. We're trying to convert into a left back at the moment, so that will do for now. Seems to be performing better, albeit McQueen at the moment is away on international duty Anyway, our midfield looks pretty similar. Bitagiko still in the box-to-box role. Bold Vincent in the ball-winning midfield role. The 30-year-old Icelandic man, and Bjarnason is the backup to our midfielders on the bench. In terms of wingers, slight change here. We've still got the Argentinian on the right wing, and Steingrimsson has worked his way into the first team on the left wing. Nice, promising youngster at the club with good potential as well. And our front two are the same as they were in yesterday's episode, but that is because Olgierson is suspended for this match. He would be in that role otherwise. Has looked quite good since coming into the team like that, but is unavailable for today. So we've made a few changes. As you can see, the wingers have been pushed up, and we've also narrowed our defence. That does seem to be helping defensively as well. But at the moment, this tactic does look like it should do a decent job for us here in this third tier of Icelandic football. We do go into this game with a pretty thin bench compared to what we usually have. Only 5 players, and this is the team that we are going to be rolling out. So hopefully in a game that we need to win, we're expected to win, we can pick up the 3 points, and we will come back shortly from the Husavik Heroes for this Icelandic Cup second round game against KFG. And we do have an early free kick in this game. We at home again in the green and white, KFG in the dark brown looking colours, and that's a nice ball over the top for Kristjansson. A little bit sloppy from the opposition defence there, but unfortunately puts the shot wide. That was a great chance for us. Now down the other end, free kick to KFG, a header there to Palmason, but he puts it just wide, so an early chance for both teams. And now we are back down the other end. A bit of a helter-skelter start here as we do have a throw in the final third. Kristjansson on the volley this time, and we go 1-0 up nice and early in the second round Icelandic Cup game. The crowd goes wild. I can guarantee you the stadium in real life, the Husavik Heroes, is not this fancy. There's not that many stands around the place, but that is a nice finish from Kristjansson off the ball, put into the mixer from our right back, Bakary, and we do go 1-0 up nice and early. But as I said, it's a bit of a helter-skelter start because we are straight back into the action from the restart to KFG as they look to strike back. But that's a perfect start for us, getting up on these guys early to try and take some nerves out of this game, because as I was saying, this is one of our few must-win games this year if we are to fulfill the board's expectations. I think already we're in a pretty good position to be forgetting about any relegation battles in the league. So if we can tick this off nice and early, we will be feeling pretty comfortable. But they are holding the ball quite nicely in this passage of play since that goal. KFG, Baldursson down the right. Nice short passing. Helgason looks to create some space down the right, puts the ball into the mixer. Header just over the bar, and it does remain 1-0 after 9 minutes. And that is half-time in this game. Nothing happening after that big early flurry of highlights, but we are just dominating things stats-wise. More shots on target, more shots overall, and got that goal through Kristjansson to see us go into the sheds 1-0. We'll tell the boys that we are pretty happy with how things are going. We're going to make one change at half-time. The left back is not performing well for us today, is Oscarsson. Will also hit early crosses as well, as our assistant did suggest that prior to this game. We just thought we'd see how things were going. We might try that in the second half to try and get a little bit more of an edge on this team in the division below us. But we'll bring Alexson on for Oscarsson at left back and see if we can extend this lead in the second half. Okay, up to the 64-minute mark here in the second half. Nothing happening so far, but we are going to make a change up front. Ryderson not performing too well in the deep-lying forward role, so we're going to bring Sverrisson on for him. Still 1-0 with 25 minutes left to go in this Icelandic Cup second round game. And another 10 minutes gone, we're going to make our last substitution. We're going to sort of do what our assistant recommends here. He wants us to bring Bjarnason on, but I think we're going to do it for Bitagiko, our best player at the club, arguably. Not performing too well today on a 6.4 rating, so Bjarnason can come on for him and can play that box-to-box midfield role for these last 15 minutes. Hopefully, we can hold on to this 1-goal lead. And we do have a throw-in shortly off the back of that in the final third, looking to get that 2-goal cushion just to make sure these guys can't pitch a goal back late to just make this a little bit nervy. Hopefully we can put this to bed now rather than let it play out with this 1-goal advantage. They are certainly still in the game despite our slight dominance so far. Bakary having a good game down the right. We get the ball out to him, puts the ball into the mixer, runs onto it nicely there, does Kristjansson. He will pick up a double, another goal for him. He is looking like a very useful striker up front, and that hopefully will be enough to see us through to the third round of the Icelandic Cup. Good short passing, Bakary, nice ball for Kristjánsson, runs onto it, has a little bit more pace than most of the defenders that he comes up against at this level, and we go 2-0 up with only 10 minutes to go. And now it's another highlight shortly off the back of that second goal, and KFG are in possession after we try and get on the attack, but we do win possession back. It's a little bit iffy. Oh, that falls very nicely there to Zveresvom. This is an absolute sitter, and it does remain 2-0. That would have surely put this well and truly beyond doubt. Now KFG are on the attack. Bjorgvinsson with a shot just high and wide, and still 2-0. Up to the 86-minute mark, here it is a corner to KFG. We do deal with the initial ball in, but they are back in possession. Put another one, far post, wide open, and he puts that in the top left corner, does Palmansson, and it is 2-1 with only a few minutes left, so they are right back in this game. Thankfully, we got the cushion goal. Hopefully, we can still hold on, but they had too much space there. Palmansson, nice finish there with his head, given a lot of space there out on the left-hand side, and it is 2-1 with only a few minutes to go. And that is full time in the second round Icelandic Cup game. They got that late goal back there, did KFG, but we did enough earlier with the double to Kristjánsson to see ourselves through with a little bit of a scrappy 2-1 win. But you look at the overall flow of the game, we looked the better team throughout most of it, gave them a little bit of a sniff back into it late, but got the job done in the end, and that will see us achieve one of the board's objectives, making our way through to the third round of the Icelandic Cup. So a good result for us there in that Icelandic Cup game, already ticking off one of the board's objectives, and we have had the draw for the third round not too long after that game, and we'll probably come back for this one tomorrow, provided I play enough of the game to get there, and it is against the team in the division above us, albeit they are struggling a little bit. Selfoss 10th in the second tier of Icelandic football, but they are in the tier above us. That's going to be a bit of a tougher test for us, albeit with where we sit on our table currently, and they sit on their table, with this being a home game for us, we might be able to get a result against these guys and go on a little bit of a cup run. So we'll see how we do in the cup. Hopefully we can keep this run going in tomorrow's episode, and we'll also give you guys an update on the league games that we have played between now and then, as we may as well focus on this cup while we are still in it. We've got 3 games in the league in between now and then, 2 of those against teams right in and around us at the moment, Leknir and KF. Before that, we take on Hutta, and if we can get results in 3 of those games, even if we can get results in 2 of those games, beat one of those teams in and around us, that should give us a really good chance of keeping ourselves in the promotion hunt for this season. But if you did enjoy today's episode of Husavik Heroes, then do remember to go down below, leave a thumbs up on the video, and if you haven't done so already and do enjoy the content here on the channel, also remember to hit that subscribe button and turn that notification bell on as well. And until tomorrow, we were taking on Selfoss in the third round of this Icelandic Cup. Thank you very much for watching. Keep on keeping on, and I'll see you then. Cheers.